Welcome to our podcast. The Dopamine Trap, Why You Can't Focus and How to Break Free.
You ever open your phone just to check the time and then somehow end up scrolling for 40 minutes?
Every single day, it's like I blink, and suddenly I'm in this rabbit hole, watching a guy restore old knives, or someone reorganizing their pantry at 2 a.m. And the weird thing is, I don't even care about the knives or the pantry, but I can't stop watching.
It's not even entertaining anymore. It's just addictive. That's dopamine. Not the happy chemical people always say it is. Not really. It's the promise of reward, not the reward itself. It whispers, something better is coming. Just one more scroll, just one more click. And the brain listens. Because it's wired for it. That's why starting is easy, but staying focused feels impossible. You sit down to study, and your brain goes, "This is boring, but what if someone liked your post? Check real quick." It'll just take a second, except it never takes a second. It takes your entire focus, your presence, your peace, and then you feel guilty, so you try harder. But the harder you try, the more exhausting it becomes, because you're fighting a battle with your own biology.
I used to think I was lazy, or broken, or just not disciplined enough. But it wasn't about willpower. It was about being constantly overstimulated.
Our brains are drowning in micro hits of dopamine from everything, everywhere, all the time. Even silence feels uncomfortable now because it doesn't give us anything to chase. We've lost the ability to just be, to sit still, to do one thing without itching for the next. The truth is, dopamine isn't evil. It's the reason we strive, create, build, but it wasn't designed for endless notifications and infinite scrolling. It was designed for survival, for effort, for delayed rewards. So when we feed it with instant pleasure, over and over, we rewire the system. Focus becomes harder because boredom feels unbearable. Deep work feels like pain because the brain is conditioned for easy hits. And the worst part, we don't even realize it's happening. We think we're weak, but really, we're chemically hijacked.
So what do we do?
We don't need to quit everything. We need to reset. Start small. Read one page and stop. Sit with boredom for 5 minutes. Walk without music sometimes. Let the brain detox from the flood. It'll scream at first, tell you it's hungry for stimulation. But if you wait, really wait, you'll feel it shift. The fog starts to lift. Your thoughts stop racing. Your focus comes back, not because you forced it, but because you gave it space to breathe. Dopamine isn't the enemy. It's the compass, but you have to decide where it points. Otherwise, it'll keep pulling you somewhere you didn't mean to go. Again, and again, and again. And one day you'll look up, realize you've spent years chasing sparks and missing the fire. So maybe today, you sit still long enough to feel something real, not exciting, not flashy, just real, and maybe, for the first time in a long time, you'll actually notice you're here. You know what's crazy? The more I learn about how dopamine works, the more I realize how much of my life I've been living on autopilot. I'll wake up, and before I even fully open my eyes, my hand reaches for the phone. It's not even a conscious decision anymore, and I don't check for anything important. I'm not checking if someone's okay or if something urgent came up. I just scroll, like my brain is craving something, before I've even said good morning to myself. I used to tell myself it's fine, it's just a habit. But then the habit started to bleed into everything. Can't eat without watching something. Can't walk without music. Can't sit alone without pulling out a screen. And the scariest part is that I didn't even notice when it got that bad. I didn't realize how addicted I was to avoiding even 5 minutes of stillness. It's like silence became this terrifying space I didn't know how to fill unless something else filled it for me. And I hate how normal it felt. How easy it was to let go of depth, to trade it for constant stimulation.
I feel that so much more than I'd like to admit. And the part that really messes me up is how we confuse constant input with actual productivity. Like, if I'm scrolling through motivational videos or learning hacks on Instagram, my brain convinces me I'm doing something useful, but I'm not actually applying anything. I'm not building anything. I'm just absorbing, passively, without direction, without pause. And then I wonder why I feel so empty by the end of the day. It's like I've consumed so much, but digested nothing. You know what I miss? I miss being bored and letting my brain wander. Not to a feed, but to thoughts that felt like mine. Back then, I used to write more, create more, even just sit with myself and actually hear my own thoughts. Now it's like there's this static noise layered over everything. And even when it's quiet outside, it's never quiet in here. And I think it's because I never gave myself the time to be with the silence long enough to hear what's underneath it.
Exactly. I didn't realize how much noise I'd normalized until I spent one afternoon without my phone. No music, no podcasts, just walking around, sitting at a cafe, watching people. At first it was uncomfortable. Like my brain was searching for something to latch onto. I felt twitchy, restless, even anxious. But slowly, this strange calm started creeping in. It wasn't flashy or exciting, but it felt like breathing again. Real breathing. And that's when I got it. Focus doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from giving your brain space to settle. We think we need more motivation, more systems. But maybe what we actually need is less noise, less pressure, less chasing. I'm tired of chasing. I just want to be here, fully, without needing something else to keep me going every second. And isn't that the most ironic thing? That we keep feeding our brains with more, hoping we'll feel better, more fulfilled, more focused, when the answer has always been subtraction. I used to think I needed to optimize everything, every second. But the real optimization is learning to sit in stillness and not panic, to find joy in simplicity again, in long walks, in deep breaths, in doing one thing at a time without splitting myself in 5 directions. That's what dopamine stole from me, the ability to be where I am and not feel like I should be somewhere else, doing something else, becoming someone else. But I'm starting to take that back, slowly, not perfectly, but consciously, and I think that's where real focus begins. Not with another trick, but with reclaiming your attention like it actually belongs to you. You know, sometimes I wonder how many hours of my life I've given away, without even realizing it. Not to people, not to meaningful moments, but to nothing, just mindless loops. And when I think back to certain weeks, even months, I can't recall a single thing that made me feel alive, because I was just existing inside that loop. Wake up, scroll, work a little, check phone, scroll again, pretend to work, scroll some more, sleep, repeat. And at some point I stopped questioning it, because it felt like everyone else was doing the same thing. We're all wired in, all plugged into the same rhythm of distraction, and no one's calling it out, because no one wants to be alone with the silence long enough to break it. But I do now, because I'm tired of forgetting how it feels to be present, to really feel the seconds go by and know that they were mine. I want my time back. I want my mind back, even if I have to wrestle it from the grip of 1,000 dopamine hits a day.
God, I needed to hear that. Because honestly, I've been afraid of who I am when everything's quiet. Like, what if without the constant noise, I realize I'm empty? That's the thought that keeps me scrolling, because distraction is safer than self-reflection. But lately I've been noticing this ache, like a low hum beneath the surface. Something inside me, trying to come up for air, and every time I ignore it, every time I numb it with another video or notification, it fades a little more. And I don't want that anymore. I don't want to lose that part of me that remembers wonder, real joy, not just amusement. I want depth again, not because it looks good or makes me feel productive, but because it's where my soul lives, and I miss it so badly. And if taking back my focus is what it takes to get back to that version of me, then I'm willing to sit in the discomfort and relearn how to exist without needing to escape every 2 minutes. That's exactly it. It's not about productivity hacks or time blocking. It's about being willing to feel even the uncomfortable stuff and still choosing not to run from it. I used to think being focused meant being intense, strict, disciplined to the point of burnout. But now I think maybe being focused is just being honest with yourself about what matters, about how much of your life you've been giving away, and how much you want to keep from here on out. Because we only get so many quiet mornings, so many real conversations, so many days where the sun hits just right on your face. And if we spend them all in a dopamine loop, we'll miss the very things that make life beautiful. Not exciting, not flashy, just beautiful in the slow, quiet way. And I don't want to miss that anymore. I want to see my life again, not just scroll through someone else's.
And that's where we'll stop for today. I hope you've had a moment to think, to reflect, and maybe, just maybe, you're seeing things a little clearer now. We're all in this together, figuring it out step by step. So, if this episode spoke to you, if you felt like someone finally said what you've been thinking, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you never miss a new episode. We're just getting started, and I can't wait to keep exploring these thoughts with you. So, take care, keep your focus, and as always, I'll be right here when you're ready to listen again. See you soon.